Hey everyone, hope y'all are having a great night. My name is Dave Albury and I am a Senior Gold Ambassador and I have been with Plexus for 2 years. I live in Lynchburg, Virginia, great state of Virginia. I, more than anything tonight, if there are folks, guys here who are struggling with the decision if you want to do this or not, I truly hope that my story will inspire you to do something, to move, because this has truly changed my life. So the first question I was asked was, how did I get started with Plexus? And it's interesting. So my daughter, Ashley Kinsel, who is a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus, she got started in early 2017. And of course, she was doing everything she could to, share what she was doing with everybody that she knew. And one of the first people that she signed up was her mom. So I was enjoying this career in corporate America, and I was like, y'all just leave me alone. I'm going to do my thing, and you do your Plexus thing. Well, later that year, Ashley had an all-expense paid trip to Plexus Corporate in Arizona, and she had a young baby and didn't want to leave the baby at home, so she asked her mom and I if we would go with her. And mom wasn't able to go, so dad ended up going for the 2 days and babysitting baby Charlotte. And the last night before we were going to go home, my daughter, I tell her she strong-armed me, but she just kind of cornered me before we went to bed, and she said, "Okay, you are signing up tonight and you're going to do this." I'm like, okay, I'm in, we'll do it. And I had no intentions that night of actually building a business with Plexus, and I know we're not talking about that tonight, and that's a whole other story, but I am doing that now. But about a month after I became a Plexus ambassador, I found out that I had prostate cancer. And so that's not something any guy wants to hear. And I remember, going into the doctor's office that day, and my wife and I have been praying and just feeling a real sense of peace going in. And I heard this inner voice saying, "You know what, Dave, this is what you're going to hear, but it's going to be okay." And I thought, I started with Triplex, and this is all about gut health, and our immune system, the majority of it is in the gut, so I want to give my body the best fighting chance to beat this thing. So in terms of how the products have improved my health, that was one of the first places for me that I started, was just really focusing on building my immune system to fight this prostate cancer. And I honestly just am so thankful to God, because along the way over the last 2 years, I've continued to see the PSA go down, which has been great. And my doctor let me know earlier this year he wasn't even going to do a biopsy this year because he was so pleased with how things were going. But as I was writing some of the things down, I was looking at the things that I struggled with, and I thought, this isn't a 50-year-old guy or a 50-something-year-old guy. This is an 80-year-old man. And I, like most people I speak with, I can't say that I necessarily felt horrible, but I knew I just didn't feel great. And I hear that a lot. But at that point, I was 40 pounds heavier. And if you'd have asked me the Dave 2 years ago if I wanted to lose weight, I would have been like, maybe 5 pounds or so would be great. I was struggling with gout, and if anyone on here has ever dealt with gout, it is one of the most painful things. I was on a prescription for gout. I was having multiple flare-ups a year. I no longer have any flare-ups, and I'm off the prescription. I was on a prescription for cholesterol and high cholesterol, my LDL, the triglycerides, which are now down. I'm off of my prescription medicine. There was also my A1C, which I didn't even know, and I had my annual checkup with my doctor about a week or two ago. And I didn't know this, but I was experiencing these hypoglycemic crashes. My blood sugar would drop. and you break out in a cold sweat. You're just shaky and jittery. You just get really irritated, and it's a horrible feeling. And that stopped after I started on these products. But my doctor told me in my last visit, and he was showing me the results. He said, because he was looking at my weight loss, he was looking at, everything else that was down, and he showed me my A1C, and he said, the last time you were here, I didn't say anything to you. He said, but you were bordering on being pre-diabetic with your A1C. And he said, look at this number, and it's significantly down. And so he asked me what I've been doing, and I shared that with him. And he said, I have several folks that are using Plexus products. Don't stop, just keep going. But my energy was probably one of the first things that I noticed when I started with the products. In the afternoon, between 2 and 3 o'clock, that was crash time for me. And I was traveling a lot for work at the time. So one of the trips early on in the process that I went on, and I was going to be out of town for about 4 days, and I had packed all of my supplements and everything, my pink drink, and I forgot and left it at home. And day 2 into my trip, and I was feeling it. So I knew, okay, there's something here. I got to stick with this. But I was taking over-the-counter sleep aids. I was dealing with reflux. I'm telling you guys, I had so many things going on. But after I started looking at this list, I'm like, this is crazy. I wouldn't have thought that I was this bad. But one of the things I noticed, I really want to encourage you guys that are just getting started, I did not give up all of my bad habits right away. And like most people, I was not consistent with taking my supplements. And I learned that the hard way. And so I finally knuckled down, like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And I gave up the diet soda. That was one of the worst things. And I just gave it up cold turkey and have never gone back to one. And the other thing is I think Justin mentioned, he still drinks his coffee. He likes coffee. I do, but I don't crave it like, I did before. But I was one of those people that liked, coffee with my sugar. So after the prostate cancer diagnosis, I was doing everything I could to, cut out as much sugar as I could also. And I started using Splenda. That stuff is it's poison. And I won't even tell you how many packets of Splenda I would put in my coffee. So I was doing that for a long time. So when I started giving up the Splenda and the Diet Coke, I really started to see, the way that I felt, it was like amped up. And one of the other things, I had Lyme disease about 10 years ago, and the doctor told me, after the treatments, he said, you might still suffer with some of the symptoms. And one of the things I was stuck with was achy knee joints. They hurt all the time. And I tried everything. I went to, that store in the mall, and I was buying stuff. Nothing helped. And these supplements changed that. My knee joints stopped hurting. Allergies, no more Benadryl, Zyrtec, Flonase, and Neti Pots, all gone. It's been amazing. So the products that I use, because I know I'm like running on here, but I do get so excited about this, and I love talking about my journey and the things that have happened. But the products that I use, I started with Triplex, which I think just about most people do, which is our Slim, our pink drink, ProBio 5, our probiotic, and BioCleanse, our magnesium supplement. Don't let the name scare you. That's where I started, and I started to gradually add in, after my doctor said, I want you to add an omega-3 to the cholesterol meds. I said, I'm not going to go buy one, I'm going to use ours. So Mega X, I started incorporating. I use Ease, which is another great one, which I learned later on. Turmeric, actually, there is a study out there that showed that it outperformed the statin that I was on for my cholesterol. So Ease, and then X Factor Plus. You've heard Justin and Tim mention our multivitamin. I'm also taking X Factor Plus. And late last year, probably going into December, I decided I want to amp up my weight loss, and I started using Metaburn Lean or whey protein meal replacements. I replace one meal every day with Lean, and I use Block when I need it, to block those sugar and carbs if I'm gonna be going out for some pasta or eating a dessert or something. And I, like Justin, I also use Joyome, our day and night skin products. So I am on the last question here, which is how have the products helped me be a better husband and father? Well, I'm also a grandfather. So I reflected on this a little bit today, and I married the love of my life 35 years ago, and I took vows that for better, for worse, in sickness and health, and I want to spend more of that time in the health area than in the sickness area. So for anything, if for no other reason, just to stay healthy so that I'm here for my wife and that we can, live out the next 35 years or more together. I want to be more present in terms of our home. Our kids are grown, moved out, both have their own families and children. So we're empty nest. It's just she and I. And again, we're not talking about the business, but that 23-year career in corporate America ended for me in March of this year, which is another great reason to do this, which is why I am. But I told her the other day, in my prayer time, I just told the Lord I was so thankful that I've had this time this year to be at home and spend more time with Lisa. It's been a tremendous blessing. But more than anything, just not settling, which is where I was at. A lot of these things I was struggling with, you begin to think they're normal and it's okay, and you just take a prescription. So I'm not settling anymore. Well, I have talked forever, guys, and I'm going to move on. Casey Folks is going to be coming on. I got to meet Casey at our convention in Las Vegas this year. He's a great guy, and he's got a great story. So don't forget to refresh the page. And if you have not signed up yet, do it. You will not regret it. Good night, everybody.